Turnaround Tuesday it is. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Daily Update. And we had a turnaround Tuesday, which turned around and turned around and turned around again, and finally turned into mush. Of course, today Rex Tillerson resigned from the White House, and sorry to see him go. A very smart man, very bright guy. Hey, again, you don't do things the way the boss wants. You're on to the next guy, and of course, I understand that that's business, and let's move forward. But in the meantime, the markets were under some heavy pressure after having a big rally early off of the CPI number. Now, I put no stock in almost any number, but certainly the CPI, which is a core inflation number, consumer price index. Again, when numbers come from the government, I don't ever pay attention to them because they revise them next month anyway. So what difference does it make what they tell me today? At the end of the day, the markets rallied huge on the initial number, and all of a sudden they broke big. Then they rallied all the way back, and then they broke hard, and then they've been spending the rest of the day breaking down. And of course, a pretty ugly day, especially in the NASDAQ, but you might expect that from the NASDAQ, with the NASDAQ being the strongest reformer. So maybe it was under a little bit more heat. Maybe it needed to take some profits. But at the end of the day, you had oil was higher, turned lower by about $1. Gold, it's kind of interesting. I wrote an article for Kitco this morning talking about gold and saying that it's having trouble holding its rallies. And, a $6 rally in a market that's falling apart with gold on the bottom end is certainly not a very big rally. To me, that would be almost something that I want to sell because it doesn't look very good. So I think we got to watch gold. I'm bullish long term. Short term, I'm not jumping in right here. I'd be more inclined to look for a spot to sell it. Bonds were up about 0.5 point. No really big deal. Again, I think that's natural. We were looking to sell at 144.20 anyways. So now I'd look to be a seller here again. You had the grains were mixed today, but they were higher, and then wheat sold off, corn got back to almost break even, and soybeans were a little bit higher. So again, I think those are still a sale. Now again, longer term, I'm looking to be a buyer. I'm trying to buy into a sell-off is what I'm looking for. But for here, I think they worked their way lower. The meats had a late day rally. I think you've now seen pretty good bottoms in cattle, hogs, and the fat cattle. So feeders, fats, and hogs look to have put in the bottom. I think that's what we'll look for to go ahead and step in here. I think these are pretty solid levels to look for. Again, remember, anytime you're doing anything here is you have a stop somewhere so you know where your exit is. Remember, when you get in an airplane, first thing they tell you is where you're getting out. So make sure that when you get in a trade, you know where you're getting out. But you had some damage done to a few stocks. But again, this is not the key here. The key is, does it follow through? The key is, does it rally back to resistance and then follow through back to the downside? We weren't surprised. We had resistance levels on both the Dow and the S&P, so that was no surprise. The NASDAQ was stronger, so again, we'll see how it plays out. But there was some heavy pressure, some heavy selling coming in, and volumes were big. So we're looking at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is simple. I think the tops are still in. I think the dollar was, although lower a little bit today on Tuesday, I think that the dollar's going to start to rally. I think you saw a late day sell-off in the Aussie dollar. You saw a late day sell-off in the yen. You saw the euro currency, which was much stronger, still strong, but weakened a little bit. I think that's a sale. In fact, we sold the euro currency at 124.50 today, a little bit below here. So again, but I think you're looking at the exact game plan that we laid out. And of course, we've got the Fed meeting next week. So I think you watch the dollar and watch the VIX. Those will be your real two key indicators to watch. But make sure if you want to get in and you want to short the market, you look to sell the S&P or the Dow around resistance levels, and otherwise you wait. You don't want to chase them down. You don't want to chase them up. You want to get in just right. So make sure you watch the market. Be more concerned about possibly observing if you're not quite sure. Again, if you're never sure, you sit back and you observe. If you put something in, make sure you have an exit to make sure you get out. That's really what it looks like. But again, the markets look a little bit ugly. And again, it's no surprise. The data is not as good as everybody thinks it is. The jobs number wasn't as good as everybody thinks it is. So at the end of the day, it looks to me like the pattern that we established, which was the big rally followed by the big sell-off and then the failure at resistance, looks like it's going to hold. So it looks like the tops are in. This is Bubba's Daily Update. And of course, don't forget our high school investing program. And I want to thank all of you that have helped so far. And that's Trader Jeff and Melanie and Warner and Rhonda And the rest of you, I thank you so much for helping. And of course, if you want to help us out, you can go to patreon.com, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. If you do that, I'll give you a week's free of my advisory service. And of course, don't forget to get the Bubba Show every day at libertytalk.fm, 4 to 5 Eastern Time. And we'll start with our NCAA picks on Thursday. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This is Bubba's Daily Update. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.